Right.
We should have a magician, or a hypnotist, or somebody who is a lower entertainer than a comedian. This is what I say. No.
It's really fascinating, and I think we probably take it for granted because all we do is comedy.
Yeah.
And so we know all of the elements that need to go into making a comedy show work.
Yes.
And the regular event planner,
they don't know those things.
They have no clue, and they just think comedy equals entertainment, and then entertainment is just because there is entertainment, it will be good.
Yes.
And no other factors need to play. Oh, well, we have a stage and entertainment, so entertainment will happen.
Yeah.
And we also need food, and and we also are.
Yeah, they go all these things.
Yeah.
And then this is one of the things. If you are a comedian listening, or this one's for you, when you're doing corporate shows are such a different beast. It's a whole different beast.
Totally different beast.
When I learned after that, because I'd done a lot of corporates before that, but that was the worst I'd ever had. And so I learned after that, I was like, it's in my contract that I'm going to speak to the event coordinators, and I'm going to speak to the company that I'm doing the show for. Because I spoke to the event coordinator beforehand, and she didn't really. She was like, "Oh, it's just a show." I was like, "Okay, cool, whatever." Then I was like, "I'm going to speak to the company ahead of time, and we're going to go over what makes a successful show." And once I did that, we were good. Like, I just did an event last week I was in Utah. The weekend before I was in San Francisco doing a big event for a veterans nonprofit organization, and we did that. We said, hey, what do we need to do to have a successful show?
Right.
And we went through, lights are down, these things are the bands, all these things. We hit all those things, crushed it. Great show. Everybody's happy. The event coordinator looks good. The company looks good.
Right.
I look good. I punch things.
You punch things. And what's funny is I've done so many corporate shows because I was with this improv troupe in Mesa for years and years and years. Did hundreds and hundreds of corporate gigs. So I've seen all of that just as a performer. I wasn't the one coordinating, but I would show up and then I would see, the producer and the owner of the company have to navigate those. And I would see, oh, this one didn't work well because of X, Y, and Z. And this one worked really well because of ABC. And so the only reason that New Year's Eve gig, what had happened was, so this comedian friend of mine who lives in San Diego, but he comes to Phoenix, and I met him in Phoenix. Back around November, he just kind of writes this general post. I said, hey, I'm looking for comedians to volunteer to come perform for a halfway house for Thanksgiving. Don't have any money, but, it'd be nice if you want to come volunteer. And I'm like, I would love to volunteer because it's Thanksgiving and nobody loves me. And so on be a good chance for, that was really dark. Lots of people love me.
A lot of people love him.
A lot of people love me, including my family who I ditched on Thanksgiving to go do this gig. So anyway, I go to San Diego and I go to this halfway house and I do this Thanksgiving gig and I just have a phenomenal time. And for what it was, they did the best possible job to put it together, which was, it was outside. And they had like a canopy and they had chairs and they had a karaoke thing and it was after lunch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like 3, 4 p.m. And then it was like, hey, everybody, if you want to watch the comedy show, go sit in these seats. Otherwise, don't go over there.
Yeah. If you want to be in a tryptophanic haze, go inside.
If you want to watch the games or you want to watch there's another place to do that. So it worked out really well. So the guy who booked me on that show, because I did so well. My
name's Paul. I'm talented. Gobble gobble.
So then he messages me and says, hey, I got this New Year's Eve gig for the same, the NA community. And I was like, oh yeah, I love this. Like I had an amazing time with them. So I foolishly assumed that because he had booked this gig that he had done all of that sort of whatever. And it turned out he didn't. He was actually just doing a favor for this sort of chapter of the community, of the NA community. And they didn't really know any of that. So it was kind of a failure on my part to be like, to not go, oh, cool. Yeah. So who's doing the thing? What does the flyer look like? What's the expectation? When am I going up? What's happening with dinner? Blah, 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 blah. And it's like, even the flyer itself said dancing and entertainment.
Oh, okay. Nice.
From like 8 to 12,
Yeah.
right? So it's, nobody knew what was going on. Nobody knew what was going on. They had an NA meeting right before me. So it was 2 hours of, hello, my name is such and such, and I'm an addict. Hi, and da-da-da-da. And then, they talk about how, their kids won't talk to them and blah, blah, blah.
And then you get up and then you're like, elevators?
What's the deal with elevators?
The best way to get high is.
Right. Well, and what's kind of funny is that community is actually very self-aware. That's why I had so much fun on the Thanksgiving gig. Yeah. Like I could just talk about drugs and, because they've just been through so much crap that just